Hello again. So I thought I'd make a video about the truth, reality, and what's going on with YouTube channels, etc., and the connection. So I mentioned in two previous videos that I do it my way, and it was weird. This I was thinking about this song from Frank Sinatra. I don't like his singing, by the way, but that really describes what I'm doing. I did not watch any videos on YouTube. I did not watch, when I was watching YouTube, did not watch certain videos about topics from people who I thought might be on the right way to understanding everything that's going on, because I didn't want to get influenced. So I deduced everything that I deduced from my own experience, my own views, and from principles using axioms and methods of deduction to get to understanding everything, which means understanding life, understanding the different thinking of men and women, the differences between men and women, and I realized that I knew everything that psychologists know, but more. I understand it better. I understand how it works from principles. And let's see, I'll go to this page first, and I'll continue here. So I'll first talk about this. The Meyer-Tuzi plots gets weird. I never liked him. I watched few videos, a bit of parts of it. And he has an antisocial face. And if you think, yeah, well, what does it mean? How can you know it's someone's antisocial from his face? Well, because the personality determines how you control your facial muscles. And you can see that, for example, extremely clearly with antisocial manipulators. They have a sort of eternal half smile, or the more subtle ones have an eternal quarter smile. But it's just a slight hint of a smile. But you know that it is not real, it is fake, because the expression on the face never changes. It's with all of them. So there's something weird going on with these, and you already know from that fact that it doesn't change, that it's almost certainly an antisocial person who hides himself or tries to hide himself, but it doesn't work with me, because if I see such a expression, then I know, yeah, that's fake. That's almost certainly someone who wants to hide his personality. So let's go. Yeah, Meyer-Tuzi, I didn't like him, never liked him. The videos got recommended. I haven't seen them anymore for a while. He hasn't put out videos probably because there's something weird going on. But I did not like him, and he's supposedly anti-woke. I think he's just using situations to make money on YouTube. That's all. So let's go first to this. It started with experiences. So I did a lot of computer programming, studied physics. I like bicycling. I made a website, reviews, etc. Got in contact with a lot of people. Had a lot of experiences on forums, both on programming and bicycling, and saw people manipulate, saw people being antisocial, and I never got intimidated by anyone, but I saw how it works. So at some point I got the idea of trying to counter all this, counter manipulation, all the stuff that I saw. And interesting, for example, in this regard is to understand people is the series, or a few series from Darren Brown long ago, maybe 15 years ago or so. And I watched these and I thought, yeah, how does it work? For example, he was talking to someone and then he said, yeah, now I'm going to tell him something, and then we're going to do maybe some sort of test. I don't recall exactly what it was. And then I thought, yeah, damn, I want to know what's going on. I want to understand. I want to see, what did he tell him? So thinking about it, and then he left, and something happened, and then I said, okay, why how does it work? So I thought, yeah, what did he tell him? I want to know. Yeah, no, yeah. Thinking for a few minutes about how it could work, that he could sort of manipulate him. And I thought, yeah, no, I don't know. After a few minutes, and then went further and got to the next segment of the TV program, and then I stopped and I realized, oh, I know what it is. He did not tell him anything. That was just like magician. It's like a sleight of hand. It's a distraction. Everything is in the open. It's very interesting. Those are really good to understand psychological manipulation and to understand people. For example, built-in stuff like there's certain things that are built in from, for example, youth toys, but also daily things, such as, for example, think of a tool. Okay, what tool do you think of now? It's almost certainly a hammer. And why is that? Because of it's extremely common. It's also used in tools, for example, in toys for children to hammer something. You hammer something to a board or nail to hang something up on. There are a lot of reasons why. So it's almost certainly hammer, and you need that's something you can deduce, but it's also something you need to know that it's really that, and then you can deduce how people behave, what they will say, what they will think. So anti-manipulation and understanding how people think is very important, and I'm working on this. I'm finally going to finish it. I'm going to Uzhgorod and to buy a personal computer here in Ukraine. I could go back to the Netherlands, but I want another one anyway with a better housing, bigger housing, which can accommodate, for example, some more hard drives and a bit more modern computer. Also, mine is, I think, 10 years old or so. It's still okay, but I need to add more memory, working memory, RAM, and if you buy a housing already, I thought, yeah, I could buy a new second-hand computer, new second-hand. So I'm going to finish, and maybe I'll go back to the Netherlands soon, probably anyway, to get, for example, my hard drives, maybe the old computer as a whole as well. But I took most of it that's important with me, but not everything. For example, I don't think I have the file and the stuff here with me on the laptop, where I put a lot of zipped files, text files, for this project, which is quite big. It's become quite big. It's about understanding life and everything. And so I'm going to finish the editing. Books 1, 2, and 3. 1 is about life, philosophy, humor, different behavior and interests of men and women, which can be explained largely by some simple axioms on the different thinking of men and women. Yeah, people who say men, for example, men are more logical thinkers, absolutely not true. My experiences show that this is not the case at all. Women do think differently, and men give the impression of thinking more logically, but they don't think more logically. Or women are more emotional, also not true. Men are just as emotional. It's absolute nonsense that men are logical thinkers like Mr. Spock or something. It's not true. Almost nobody is like that. Book 2, Psychological Analysis of Manipulation. And how to prevent it, about psychopaths, the truth and ineptitude of psychologists and what this has caused. Yeah, psychologists should be able to counter all this, and they don't do it. But also because they don't understand it, but there's actually principles involved in their work stating, yeah, they should not analyze people publicly, which is absolute bullshit. Okay, book 3, Analysis of the Problems in Current Western Society. So this is wokeness, but other things as well. And wokeness is not about respect, etc. It's oppressive behavior. And the interesting thing is, in computing, you have the same things. Had the same things going on already at the time in the early 90s. In the early 90s, it sort of started, but it was not really present anywhere that you really notice it. But there was, for example, this film, which is very interesting, from I think 1994, PCU. Let's have a look. I am DB. Yeah. PCU 1994. Yeah. High school senior visits college for the weekend and stays at the Wiles house on campus. But this is about political correctness, really. It's about, and makes a joke of it, but this is what's actually going on now. And it's not a joke, not treated as a joke. But political correctness was treated as a joke at the time. Politically correct you. Yeah, who lives in the pit, the most offensive house on campus. I would recommend watching this just as a reference to see what has happened, and that this was a joke at the time, and it's not a joke at the moment. It's weird. So this project, it started with anti-manipulation. I came into contact with people in discussions, as I mentioned, not just with bicycling, but also computing, especially Linux, for example, and but other areas as well, computer programming languages, and Linux. I mentioned to a relative, it's unbelievable how antisocial people are in those Linux news groups. Absolutely ridiculous. It's one of the reasons I eventually quit using Linux. I started using OpenBSD for a while to try it out, then tried FreeBSD and a few other variants, NetBSD very briefly, Dragonfly BSD also, I think very, very briefly. I settled on FreeBSD because it had a relaxed atmosphere, no whining about licenses all the time, and it just works. Sometimes there are things that don't work, but then you get on the mailing list or mailing list. Yeah, mailing list. That's it mostly. There are also forums, and then, for example, you can get hints on what to do to fix something if a driver doesn't work or something. It's been good. I've been using it for ages as my desktop, my main operating system. Sometimes I used a Windows drive to play a game, but it's been ages. I usually play games that I can play on FreeBSD, otherwise I don't play. I've not been interested. Maybe I'll go back to starting to play some more modern games now with this new PC that I'm going to buy. So the issues that I came across, manipulation, and the Darren Brown TV series were very interesting in that respect too. They did not explain anything. They were like magician shows, but I could deduce everything. So for me, that was very useful to understand people. And that's what I'm going to do in these books, to make everything clear to everyone, to show how everything works, the thinking of men and women, different political thinking, for example, left and right. I show that doesn't make any sense, this distinction. You need to think differently about politics. And I will tell how that works. This is also why I'm not interested in working together with some groups that are left or right. No, because they're all not seeking the truth. Seeking the truth is a start. It's not the total that is required for understanding everything about what is the way to understand political views and what is actually what should be your view about life and how to deal with situations. So this is also related to thinking and to group behavior, for example. Then it shows you that importing, for example, people is going on a lot in the EU, a bit in Western Europe, a bit too much already, and in the UK it's really too much. In the USA, you have a problem, of course, with the open border, and that destabilizes society. And you can deduce how that works simply by thinking about groups and what people like, and you can examine your own thinking while, for example, walking, to show how this works. I'll explain everything, how this works. Everyone can do it, everyone can understand it, but you need to know you need to know it. You need to know certain things. You need to sort of develop a certain thinking, that you can see certain things in action in daily life. Because when I walk around, I see everything that I have deduced confirmed all the time. It's not that I'm looking for confirmation, as I mentioned in several places on my website as well. I'm not interested in anyone saying how great I am or how great your website is about bicycling. Some people do that. I don't care. I'm more interested in criticism. I'm looking for, scientific theory, for ways to show that my theory is incorrect. And yeah, of course, I come across small things and then adjust slightly the views that I have, but the analysis is correct. And it also allows you to understand people very quickly. I mentioned in a previous video that I watched this video about arrest of Jeremy Clarkson, and it said alleged arrest, and from that combination I already knew this is probably fake, because you don't need to say alleged arrest. Alleged burglar, yes, because you don't know yet if he really did it, unless you've actually seen him do it in action, of course. But news, for example, reports on people as being alleged this or that, but they do it even if you see them with a car crashing into some, they're alleged. And you've seen him do it. In any case, so you can deduce how people think, what they are like, and also what they think. It works in all directions. Let's go here to make this video not too long. Meyer Toos, I didn't like him. He's just like the quartering, etc. These people are just making money off YouTube, that's all. If you keep dissing Toosy, I think you might come unstuck. If you're worried, you are. This is also very annoying these days. People using your instead of you dash re, you are. Well, how do you call it? Word for yourself, it's understandable, just stand down for a bit. He's allowed to question the establishment, but you don't like me questioning him. Yeah. Let's see. Transparency is important, yes. So this guy, let's see, here's interesting. Invited for lunch. Yeah, if someone meets the establishment, what's wrong with that? You need to have a discussion anyway at some point. I unsubbed from Tuzi when he started a website, asked for members, produced nothing on the site, closed it, and then opened another site asking for exactly the same thing. Problem that I have with him is mainly that he produces nothing other than shouting about how everyone and everything about except him is woke, and most of his time is dedicated to re-reporting other people's content and saying over and over again how he is the media. A lot of channels do that, of course. They YouTube channels, they write state things that they read somewhere else. They're sort of like news aggregators, and they create this bubble, echo chamber for people who also see problems, and they see it confirmed. And they like to be in such an environment, and I'm not interested in that. Okay, let's see. So this previous video, let's finish that. I said Jeremy Clarkson, the guy mentioned alleged arrest, and then I knew, yes, this is almost certainly fake. I looked it up, found an old video, and it was a fake arrest as a sort of joke by two guys on UK TV. And he used that video the video of that event in his video here on YouTube, and so yeah, this is just a bullshit channel. And it's the same with a lot of these people. It's clickbait junk, a lot of it. even complete fake. And you saw that a lot with the takeover of Twitter, a lot of channels about Elon Musk Zone or something like that. A lot of lies, just stating what had not happened as having happened, but to get clicks. Together we unite. If you make us unite with a snake, that unity is going to be very good. Is it correct? Tuzi is a liar who changed his story numerous times. He's done this in the past. He legitimizes everything by doing this. So he hasn't been arrested, but claims he would get arrested. I saw the thumbnail on YouTube, didn't watch it. I wasn't interested. But this is more interesting, the reactions to what has not happened. I'm thinking same as with the video that I mentioned here. Yeah. Let's see. Tuzi is overrated. Many more YouTubers that are also stating the obvious. Correct. Tuzi is a capitalist clickbaiter. Can't believe people are falling for it. Yeah. There was someone else. It's Tuzi who will come unstuck. He's a fraud. You're thick if you can't see what he's doing. I unscrubbed, got fed up with him asking for subscribers to join him. Subscribing should suffice, but that's what a lot of channels do. Click, yeah, share this video, become a member. I don't do that, I'm not interested. I just say what I want to say, and I give you analysis. You can dislike it if you want. You can also write a comment about what you disagree with. Fine, that's all. Let's see. Tuzi is controlled opposition. He's just a clickbaiter. At the back of liars. Someone made a comment here about this week. Meyer Tuzi called me fake news. I said he's not getting arrested. He was not arrested. Yeah, but there's something more. Everything Meyer Tuzi does isn't so much stage as cosplay. He isn't staging these things, he's playing at doing them. Fighting the Westminster bubble, spent every day hanging around the Red Lion pub at Derby Gate. Trying to be part of it. He's cosplaying. You could go, oh yeah, this was it. He filmed himself in literally the safest street in Britain and acted that he was in danger of being mugged in deadly London. There's someone else who mentioned that he was just walking around London while supposedly people were after him. It became nothing. Police want me dead. They've leaked my info. The only thing about him anywhere is his old address. Let's see. There's something about for example, that he was being in danger, but he was just walking around as if nothing was going on in London and in France as well. Yeah, these people might claim, oh wait, yeah, this is also interesting. First, Tuzi said they lost the paperwork in his hand. It's not lost. He's moved the goalpost. My claim was Monday's arrests. The leak is real, but it came after. I said on Saturday he's not getting arrested on Monday. Yeah, someone said also about paperwork is lost. They lost the paperwork in his hand. But there's someone who mentioned also that the police will say they lost the paperwork if they don't know what's going on. So they don't have any paperwork probably, because there is no arrest coming, or they don't even know what he is, or who he is, or what he says. In any case, let's see. There's a lot of stuff. There's a con artist, non-stop clickbait, laughing at the gullible people. But a lot of people are just bullshitting on YouTube, or just giving not useful, not interesting information. One of them is, for example, with a from the French name. I mentioned these before. What is it? From the French Revolution. Someone has a Maximilien Robespierre. Stupid name for a channel, because that is one of the psychopaths from history. Probable psychopaths. Not insightful, not interesting. It's anti-Brexit guy, and the pro-Brexit and anti-Brexit are all stupid idiots. I would say perhaps New Culture Forum is okay. Academic Agencies looks to be okay. Lotus Eaters, podcast of Lotus Eaters and Carl Benjamin, there are problems with them. They don't know how to analyze properly. So I mentioned, for example, about I showed one video recently, a little bit of it, and about Ukraine, and yeah, Trump is just going to say, Putin, you just have to accept, stop this war now, or else. Then you need to be able to and willing to really do something about it. And Trump is probably willing to do actual things. As you've seen in some threats that he's already making of what he's going to impose on tariffs, for example, and that already has effects. And he will do it. I'm sure of that. He's not a softie. With Ukraine, you will have to see, because he will probably know that if you appease to a psychopath, you will only delay the problem and then make it worse, just as World War II happened. It could have ended a lot sooner, in a lot better way. Appeasing doesn't work with such people, and then you will always get the threat of, yeah, but we have nuclear weapons. Yeah, it won't stop then. Then even NATO countries aren't safe, because they then can always say, yeah, we have nuclear weapons. So in the podcast of Lotus Eaters, one video that I showed was a little bit of it. Another guy said, and that guy is a complete moron. Yeah, Ukraine will just have to accept that they lost land. Okay, now one of the things you need to do, if you want to really understand life and people, is, do they apply their own thinking to themselves? If they don't do that, then they are antisocial. And of course, this behavior of those two people, Carl Benjamin and this other guy, was antisocial. It's not normal. What are they going to do when someone goes into their house, a burglar, and then just stays there and decides, yeah, this is my this upper floor, for example, of the house is mine? Are they going to accept it? No, they're going to the police and want to evict him. And then are they going to? What if the police then says, yeah, you just, as they said about Ukraine and Russia, I'm going to use the same arguments against them now, and that's one of the things I did already in programming long ago, even though I'd never done any argument, reasoning to how do you call it, to counter certain arguments. I knew instinctively how to do it. Use their own arguments against them. So I'm going to use it against them. Then the police says, you're just going to have to give up the upper floor, mate. Would they accept it? Of course not. Or about London, for example, there are a lot of negative comments that London is not British anymore. That it's what's maybe 1/3 or so these days original British people living there. Okay. Do they like that? No, because it changes their culture. But now I can say, using their own arguments, yeah, you're just going to have to give up London, mate. That's just just it. Just accept it. Do they like that? Do they think that's fair? Do they think it's proper? No. So why do they suggest that with Ukraine? It's just antisocial behavior. But they don't understand also the consequences. Consequences of doing that or appeasing a dictator like Putin are really grave. And it's like I mentioned in that video, I think I mentioned it. Yeah, it's about house renovations, for example. Doing what you need to do as soon as possible is the cheapest. If you wait and let wood rot, etc., it's going to be much more expensive to fix everything later. And these are things that you can understand people, as I mentioned a few times, very quickly even from a few sentences. And or in this case with the channel that I mentioned with alleged arrest of Jeremy Clarkson, I knew alleged arrest. You don't need to use alleged. You can just say arrest, even if it's not true, because nobody's going after you. It doesn't matter. Police doesn't care. If you say something negative about the police, then they will care. But if you say they arrested someone, it's not true. This is not a problem. From that combination, those two words together, I already knew something is wrong with that channel. And with people also, from their face, you can quickly deduce what they're like, what the problems are, and that some things are not as they state. And that's what my project is about. Understanding everything. And it's possible. And I'm going also against the groups that want to go beyond normal human life, which is like the meditation groups, etc. I think that's not useful at all. There are various reasons for it. For example, that people are in different stages of thinking, and then people in those groups, such as Bhagwan or Osho, all stupid renaming, mentioned, rational thinking does not apply, and a lot of people, a lot of such streams of thoughts are this way. It doesn't matter, even if that were the case. You need to reach people in various stages of thinking, of understanding, of desires in life, etc. So you need to do it analytically as well, even if at some point you can reach a stage that is called enlightenment, then you still need to do this. And I will go into how everything works and why it's very important also to the connection between feeling and thinking, by the way. It's very important. Nobody seems to understand that properly. And that it's also not in the meditation groups. They don't understand. You shouldn't think, or you need to not overthink things. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Okay, so I'm going to do that the coming weeks, if all goes well. It'll take more than a few weeks, but that's what I'm going to do in the coming weeks. In any case, and after that, we'll see there are things I need to do. Yeah, it's a lot of work to move from one country to another, and especially if it's not in the EU, of course, then there's so many things you need to arrange. It's not easy. That's it for now. Bye.